Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 5, entitled as Karma Sannyasa Yogam. Sloka 24. Ntaḥ-sukho ntar-ārāmas tathāntar-jyotir sa yogī brahma-nirvāṇaṁ brahma-bhūto dhigacchati. One doesn't need an external tool to enjoy Atma. One doesn't need an external place to enjoy Atma, or an external object to enjoy the Atma, because it's all Atma. Atma is the object of enjoyment. Atma is a place of enjoyment. Atma is a tool by itself for enjoyment. Likewise, for a person who is experiencing Paramatma, Bhogyam, the pleasure-giving object, is going to be Paramatma. Bhogasthanam, the place that we must be situated, is also going to be Paramatma. Bhogopakaranam, the tools that we will be using to enjoy Paramatma, is also going to be Paramatma. All the three, the pleasurable object, the place, and the tools, all will be Paramatma. One doesn't need an external tool, external place to experience the Paramatma, or external object to experience the Paramatma. It's all Paramatma. It is said by one of the Ārvār that Unnum sorum paruhum neer tinnum vetrilai yellam kannane. That is, the food that I eat, the water that I drink, the betel leaves that I enjoy, it's all Krishna. Usually in the world, one gets bored enjoying the same thing. Even if one likes the same thing, say mango, as we've been seeing the mango as an example, how many mangoes can one eat in a day? Sitting in the same place, using the same tool. Even if one wants to eat, one might have reached their capacity to put any further into their stomach. From this, we can understand that the pleasure that one gets from the external material objects as two things. Number one, it's dosha, faults, and limitation. Faults, or the pleasure, stays only for some time. It doesn't last for long. Once I finish eating mango, I'm done. I need to have another mango to get another pleasure, same pleasure. Eat another mango to get a pleasure. It doesn't stay for long after I just eat one time. Limitation is that even if that object can give extended pleasure, our senses, organs, the body has its own limitation. How much can I take in? I can't. That's number one. Number one, these things as is dosha, the faults and limitation. Now, number two, the second point is that people mentality is that they want to experience new things in their lives. They look for new objects to enjoy and derive pleasure to their senses and mind. Even if one wants to enjoy the same object, they explore that by changing places, using different tools, and so forth. So we can understand that the pleasure that we get through these external things as these two problems. It is full of faults and limitation. And number two, we have to keep changing the three factors that we saw: Bhoga, Bhogasthana, and Bhoga Upakarana. Whereas when it comes to Atma, there is no faults, no limitation, and no need to go look for different Atma or different places or different tools to enjoy the Atma. It's an advantage to have all the three in one compared to the material objects which requires all the three to be different. Brahma-bhūto, a person who considers the body as the self will think of himself in terms of identification with what they are. I am a human being with various classification that I am so and so, I am tall, I am fat, I am Indian, I am Brahmana, I am a grahastha, etc., which all comes through the bodily identification. On the other hand, he who knows clearly that the Atma is different and distinct from the body will not think of himself in these terms that we just saw. Instead, he will think in terms of having knowledge and bliss as his nature. Sat, Chit and Ananda is eternal, knowledgeable and blissful. Such a person no longer desires any external material happiness, and this state is called brahma-bhūto. And another important term that we need to address here in the sloka is brahma-nirvāṇaṁ. Many times we hear this term nirvāṇ, which are frequently used by everyone, most of them, which is being heavily influenced by Buddhist teachings. Even in Bhagavad Gita, this term nirvana comes in other places. In 2.72, in this sloka that we are seeing, and in the next sloka that we are going to see, and in 6th chapter, 15th sloka as well. Here we should be clear that Krishna is not teaching Buddhism. The meaning of nirvana is cessation of material existence, whereas what Buddhism teaches is a state of non-existence. So it's two completely different theory. For one to be more clear about this one, please refer back to 7th sloka, part 9 and part 10 of the same chapter. There we learned that Buddhism is not a Vedic school of thoughts, is against the Vedas, and Bhagavad Gita is supporting the Vedas. And here Krishna is not going to preach against the Vedas. Therefore, it is very important for those who are followers of Sanatana Dharma should understand this very clearly and not get confused and state moksha means nirvana from the Buddhist point of view. Also, an important point to note here is in the sloka, it's just not nirvāṇaṁ, it says brahma-nirvāṇaṁ, which means that one attains the state of bliss within or with Paramatma by simultaneous revival of one's spiritual existence. We also need to note that the nirvāṇaṁ also means bliss. Hence the meaning to brahma-nirvāṇaṁ can be interpreted as self is bliss or bliss in self. Or if we take Brahma Shabdam as Paramatma, then Paramatma is bliss or bliss in Paramatma. So to summarize, for one who has realized, for him the bhogyam, bhogasthanam, bhohopakaranam, ntaḥ-sukho, ntar-ārāmas, and then ntar-jyotir, they are all Atma, unlike those who are experiencing the material pleasure. All those three differs. And for one whose object of pleasure is Atma, whose place of pleasure is Atma, whose tool of pleasure is also Atma, is delighted in the vision of self, the Atma. Such person will attain the Atma or Paramatma based on his desire. ntaḥ-sukho ntar-ārāmas tathāntar-jyotir sa yogī brahma-nirvāṇaṁ brahma-bhūto dhigacchati. Namaste. Hare Krishna.